Oh, it worked. Okay.
Woohoo!
So I believe we're live. I'm gonna have to check though. Um. Oh no, not my desktop. That's my desktop.
You could send me a link to the stream, and then I could see if I can watch it.
Okay. It says it's. Yeah. I think it's. I think we are live. Well, it's still coming up. Oh, it worked. Okay. Yep. Okay. It's streamed. It's streamed. So I believe we're live. I'm gonna have to check though. Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Oh. All right, guys. Welcome to the stream. The first episode of our new podcast is a working title. We don't actually know what we're gonna call this podcast yet. Sam, any ideas? Podcast name?
The Council of Lore.
Oh, that's a good idea. If you guys like that, be sure to leave a comment down below. Maybe if I don't come up with something, then later, then that'll be the name of the stream, name of the podcast. And if all our other ideas are dumb, then that'll be it. So today we're just gonna be the first episode is gonna be kind of shorter than it normally would be. We're planning to do like 30-45 minutes as a regular stream length, but for this episode, we're just going to be talking. And I actually have a question. I've not asked Sam this, so this is his first reaction to this question. Okay, so in Star Wars Legends, what if the Thrawn campaign, the Yuzon Vong invasion, Dark Empire, and Black Fleet Crisis all...
That would be absolute madness, for one thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
The Black Fleet Crisis, I mean... I don't know much about the Yaveffa. I know that they were very angry with the Empire.
Yeah, they were basically enslaved.
But then again, there's also a good chance that they would see the Yuzon Vong for the existential threat that they were.
Exactly. They actually did. When the Yuzon Vong invaded the core, they attacked the Yavitha. The Yavitha were able to stand up for some time, but since their Black Fleet had been taken away by the New Republic earlier, they were defeated pretty quickly. But we're assuming now that they have their full fleet at the time of the invasion.
With the Black Fleet, with the Black Fleet and the Dark Empire fleet combined, they could probably deal some serious damage to the Vong.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about Thrawn. I think Thrawn would be willing to fight the Vong and put aside differences against the Emperor, but the Emperor might not want to do that.
True.
Because Palpatine might be angry with Thrawn for starting his own little empire, his own campaign.
That's true. There's some debate, though, that Palpatine was the reason that Thrawn began his campaign. Like, he told Thrawn to launch his campaign to prepare the way for the Dark Empire while he made the final preparations. This is all, like, headcanon. We don't actually... It's implied in the Essential Guide to Warfare, but, again, no one really knows for sure.
Interesting.
Very. So the way I see it, I think that Thrawn's empire, like the Thrawn campaign, that would be the Pentastar alignment, Kutric hegemony, and Thrawn's forces would probably join the Dark Empire. And that would probably be the combined empire against the New Republic, against the Yuzon Vong, against the Yavitha. No.
Yeah.
That seems most likely to me.
I think they have an equal or better chance of beating the Vong than the New Republic did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the canon timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the canon Legends timeline, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, because the Dark Empire had a heck of a lot of ships.
Yeah, I mean, they had 7 superstars.
The Black Fleet, for that matter.
Okay, so the Black Fleet, though, can't really compare to the Dark Empire. They had an Executor class, an Armandia, and Armandia is basically a slightly weaker Mandator 3, and then they had the Pride of Yavitha, which is the EXF, or Raquel if you prefer. the Sornon class. So they
Yeah.
had a heavy battle cruiser and 2 good-sized dreadnoughts with a few fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers and a couple of smaller support ships, and of course their native thrust ships. But and the fact that they're in the core itself, practically surrounded by the New Republic and Dark Empire, is probably would be advantageous for them, because they would be able to fight both of them at the same time, whereas the others would also be focusing on the Vong. Probably would overlook them and focus on the Vong more so, allowing the Yavitha to gain power. Though,
I mean,
yeah, you go ahead.
I'm thinking, like, assuming the Yavitha decide to not fight against everyone else and just focus on beating the Vong, I think the best use for the Black Fleet would be, like, you know how the Viscount class was used in the Yuzon Vong War as, like, basically orbital gun batteries to prevent the Vong from capturing important planets? I think that would be a great use for their dreadnoughts.
Probably right. Because dreadnoughts were invaluable against the Vong. A lot of the Lusankia and Guardian were 2 executor classes under the New Republic, and the Empire's Megador and Dominion, which were a Mandator 3 and Bellator, and of course the Viscounts. Even the Vong were afraid to attack Mon Calamari just because an incomplete Viscount was there.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
that's...
I don't think we know for certain the Mandate or the Megador's class. I'm pretty sure it being a Mandator 3 is only a Thrawn's Revenge thing.
Well, it's better than everybody else says. It's better than everybody else. I mean, no one else is...
Yeah, that's fair.
It's possible that it's its own class. Oh, maybe it's a you-know-what.
No one else has ever really given an answer, so...
Yep. Or maybe it's a you-know-what. You guys won't get that yet, but Sam probably does. That'd have to be...
I know what you're talking about.
That'd have to be headcanon, though.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, the Megador is described as having 16 engines, whereas the you-know-what only has 4.
Yeah, that's true. But if you think about that, I mean, think about all the other Super Star Destroyers, like the Executor does. I don't know the exact number of the Executor, but the Executor does not have that many. And since the Mandator 3 does not actually have a description of...
The Executor has 13.
Oh, so it could be an Executor, it could be. But I feel like the Executor was put everywhere. Like, there was... Every other Warlord had an Executor class. Some of them were just straight up built. Like, the Intimidator, which was the Yavitha Executor.
Yeah.
It was later renamed. It was one of the many ships renamed the Blank of Yavitha or something. But I think Intimidator is a pretty cool name.
I agree.
But my favorite...
I mean, there's also, like... I think after Zinj lost his Superstars, he built another one as well, didn't he?
Oh, okay, that's a bit of a...
He,
Okay, you're not wrong. It's just... that's a bit... Okay, so he never lost...
There was, like, a Wraith Fist, and then there was...
There was the Iron Fist. Okay, so the Iron Fist was severely damaged in a battle with the New Republic and Hapens and Empire. So Zinj... Or at some point. So Zinj was trying to acquire a second Super Star Destroyer, the Razor's Kiss, stealing it from Kuat. However, the Razor's Kiss was severely damaged in the process of getting away with it, and merely destroyed. Zinj salvaged the Razor's Kiss and renamed it the Second Death, in which he used it to trick everyone into believing the Iron Fist had been destroyed to buy time to repair it. And then, of course, Han Solo found him over Dathomir and killed him by firing concussion missiles into its bridge.
You know, I think there are too many Executors.
Exactly.
I think
there are way too many.
The Executor class specifically was overused a bit.
way
Yeah.
overused. Which is why it's refreshing that they had so many different types of SSDs all around Legends. Which is why I support the theory that the Megador was not an executor class. We know that there were at least 20 executor classes built during the time of the Empire. 21 if you count the Nighthammer, which I do, which is actually my favorite executor class. But
Yeah, I like the idea of the black hole on it.
and the stealthing armor is cool. Now, I admit, my second favorite has to be the Terror, because it had a straight-up cloaking device. But I just feel like the black hull gives it a psychological...
Oh, yeah.
I think the black hull gives it a psychological effect.
It would almost remind them of the Dark Empire.
Mm-hmm.
With all their black painted shit.
Yeah, like the World Devastators, and then the Eclipse, and the Eclipse 2, which are awesome, by the way. I like those two. I think that they're...
Sovereign.
The Sovereigns. Although the Sovereigns, the first 4 of the class were never actually finished, and they didn't build any more. Interesting, though, those things were actually meant for mass production. Like, they were supposed to replace the Executor class as the common plot armor for the New Republic.
Yeah.
We got way off topic.
Sovereign.
Everyone just says it's a mini Eclipse.
Yeah, we really have.
Yeah. I mean, Super Star Destroyers are a huge part of all the factions that I just mentioned that basically be fighting each other, with the exception of the Thrawn's Empire. Really? Because after the Battle of Bilbringi, if he had survived, the Pentastar Alignment's Artist Kane was going to commit the another Executor class, the Reaper, to his forces.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Those things are everywhere. You can't get away from them. They're just everywhere.
Honestly, I think it would have been cool to see one that's actually longer than the Executor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that sounds silly and sort of fanon-y, but I don't know. I like the idea of a 20-kilometer long Super Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Maybe
a nice sort of round, even number.
Yeah, instead of just 19. Why is it 19? It makes no sense.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna go that high, why stop there?
Yeah.
You know, just keep going.
Mm-hmm. But, I said that the Nighthammer was my favorite Executor class, but my all-time favorite Dreadnought has to be the Assertor class. It's just
they're definitely very cool.
They look so cool. Like, I don't remember who was it. Was it Fractal Sponge or E.C. Henry that made it?
It was, yeah.
It was one of those two.
The Fractal Sponge.
Oh, Fractal Sponge. Yeah. He also...
Yeah, the Secutor is...
Yeah. But,
it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, the Venator's big brother, as I call it. But, I feel like you said, the Executor is overused.
The Mega Venator.
Yeah, but that would be the Virigator. The Virigator is this fan design that's like a Venator scaled up to Allegiance size or bigger.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. We just